people can be mad about, wrathy about things that happened. Like, as an example, it's a childhood something that happened.
Sure.
And it's like the worst thing ever.
Yep.
And you can be mad about it forever.
Sure.
How much being mad about something like that is acceptable?
Okay.
Like, because it's like the worst stuff.
Right.
And affects your life. And like, it wasn't ever a slow to anger thing.
Right.
Like, it was just like, this is something that happened to me and I'm pissed.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So like, where does that fall into the
spectrum of all of this?
The anger mad curve.
Okay. Yeah.
Scales. I like scales.
Scales.
Not spectrums. No more spectrums.
No more spectrums.
I'm never bringing up spectrums ever again.
Definitely going to bring it up.
Scales.
Okay. So there's no doubt that individuals, whether it's a childhood trauma, whether it's something that's happened in their adult life,
right?
Things happen that are so unjust, that are so wrong, that absolutely you're angry about it, and you have every right to be angry about it in the sense of that's not okay,
right?
Like that's directed towards something that's so unjust, it's not okay. And I'm not going to tell someone that, well, just get over it. No, like what happened is not okay. I think you have to give people time to process through that. So in other words, when something happens,
how long?
Oh God. Okay, put it this way. If in the counseling realm, psychological realm, 3 to 5 years to deeply grieve loss, or to deeply, and loss can be not just the loss of a loved one because they died, but loss of something within you because of trauma, or being a victim towards something, is a perfect, normal, acceptable time to grieve and to try to, and because part of grief is anger, is what I'm getting to in that.
Okay.
Is there's an anger there
And
because you're just pissed. Like,
and I want to murder the person that did it to you.
And you may feel that way too. Okay. What I would say is that in the midst of that, we do need to know that, okay, there's the anger there, that it's real, it's intense, and I'm going to try to work through for trying to eventually get to a point of forgiveness. And that's, again, I'm not saying it's going to happen magically overnight. And I don't want to equate forgiveness with an emotion either. So we choose to forgive, and we hope the emotion comes. But here's my point, is because the reason forgiveness becomes important in this is because if, let's say something's happened and I'm 10 years after that point, okay?
Because it's different when you're a kid, right? The 3 to 5 years don't apply, or do they apply?
Everyone's so uniquely different, but generally speaking, no, it's 3 to 5 years is still applying, because I want to help. Like, if a child loses both parents, if a child is traumatized because of molestation or those kind of things, you're wanting to help them process, and I don't know if I love the word process, but to help them navigate through the feelings, the emotions that are just coming, right? The thoughts of, questioning why, the thoughts of, I hate them, if you've been harmed or hurt, the thoughts of, why, God, did you allow this? Like, working through all of those things, working through anger toward God, toward self, toward others, working through all of that. Okay. But I don't want anyone, regardless of how young or old they are, when they experience the hurt, the trauma, the loss, I don't want anyone to keep carrying that where it's this all-consuming thing that now defines their life.
Okay.
Because that is so unhealthy. We become such a fractured person from who we are created to be. And we're all fractured and broken. None of us are fully whole, and we won't experience full wholeness, until the new creation. So I'm not saying it, but it's just like, but at the same time, as we're moving toward and being shaped and formed in Christ, we are regaining wholeness. We're moving toward wholeness in Him.
Okay.
And wholeness, by wholeness, I mean like wholeness in our body and our mind and our emotions and our will and our spirit life, like a wholeness of a person. And what can happen is anger can be so deeply embedded in us that now all of a sudden that anger is dictating my life.
Okay.
So it's leaving me in a very broken state. And again, if I'm in this state for a few years, 3 to 5 years, like that would be normal to walk through. But if I'm 10, 15, 20 years removed from the event and it's still consuming me, it's still dictating my life and my decisions and my choices, and I've got this anger that's just, that's to me where it becomes unhealthy for you as a person, because not only do you have the unforgiveness and the anger there, but it's also more than likely deteriorating, or causing strife in relationships that you have, that you would like to have.
Is unforgiveness equal anger?
Yes. So, for example, when someone comes to me and they say, I have an anger problem, my bearing from that point is, where is the unforgiveness that's leading to the anger? Okay. So you kind of think of unforgiveness as like a root, and anger is like a symptom of that. Okay. Like a branch coming off that tree of unforgiveness. Yeah.
So what if you don't realize that you're pissed forever?
Yeah, and I think there are people who don't realize that. Okay. Because they're the people that you come across, and there's just that, like, we all know people who are like this, is that there's just always just strife around them in their relationships, like constantly, because when we're broken in that sense, and I say broken, and I don't mean that in a like it's your fault you're broken. I don't right. I just mean like we're not experiencing healing in that area of our life. It's affecting everything else, in our, more than likely in our relationships, and then, envy and jealousy and depression and anxiety all become factors in this. And so I think that there's this reality that, for someone, that's what I'm saying. If someone is experiencing that deep level of unforgiveness, that really is, in other words, think of it this way. We all have that initial feeling of anger, but then we're able to kind of, I move past it, right? Or it settles after a couple of days, or I talk to someone and I'm able to kind of get past it, right? But when unforgiveness is built up around it now, or it's not just the anger, the emotion to the wrong, it's now unforgiveness has set in, and it's like it's holding anger there. So it's like yeah, and because it's holding anger there, I'm just kind of in a perpetual state of it. And I'm not saying I'm walking around every day angry and pissed, but it doesn't take much to set me off. It doesn't take much for me to lash out against someone. And what I'm saying is, most often the time, the people that are being harmed by it, the relationships I'm having that I can't seem to keep, it's not because of what's going on in that dynamic. It's because of the unresolved unforgiveness in me that's leading to that.